Hello everyone, it is Garrett of Oz. This is the end of March, almost Easter time, and I'm here with the monthly video. This one is The Magic of Oz. It is the 13th book in the series that was written by L. Frank Baum. It is the next to last book, and it's also the first one published posthumously. Baum died in May of 1919, and the book was published in June. He did tell his editors that there was enough material for an Oz book for 1921 by him. There doesn't seem to have actually been, and the speculation is that it was actually animal fairy tales that was going to be collected as an omnibus, but nothing completely definitive. So this is the next to last. While Royal Book of Oz does credit Baum for it, it's entirely Ruth Plumley Thompson. But we won't get there till May. Alright, so this one there's not a lot of background document information on. So this one, well, we'll just kind of get into it. So Magic of Oz, it's the 13th book. It opens on Mount Munch. There's one of the few really nice drawings in this book. There's Mount Munch. With Kiki Aru, who is bored and a munchkin, and he doesn't like where he lives. And his father knows a magic word that, if pronounced correctly, can transform whoever transform someone into anything they wish. Either by wishing it on themselves or wishing it on someone else. But obviously this is quite dangerous, so it's not supposed to fall into other people's hands. So he gets it, he turns himself into a bird, and he flies across the deadly desert to No Land, where he encounters Ruggedo, the deposed former Gnome King, who decides he wants to take revenge on the Oz people, and since Kiki Aru is bored, he might as well come along with him. The idea that he will let Kiki Aru take over and punish the Oz people, allowing Ruggedo to really seize power for himself. But of course, Kiki Aru doesn't plan to do that because he doesn't trust the Gnome King. Gasp of shock and surprise. At the same time in Oz, Ozma's having a birthday. Glinda is seemingly being not creative and having her servants make a dress of spun emeralds. Oh yeah, they're really going big for Ozma this time. Trot and Cap'n Bill decide, with the help of the glass cat, that they're going to pluck a magic flower in the far north end of somewhere along the border of Munchkin Country and Gillikin Country. And the flower is beautiful. It changes every couple of seconds into a totally different flower all its own. Of course, when they arrive and set foot on the island, they immediately start to grow roots because that is part of the island's charm. And so the glass cat has to help rescue them, and really that's the best part of this entire book. Dorothy, the wizard, the hungry tiger, and the cowardly lion set off because Dorothy and the wizard have decided to create a cake that will have 12 dancing monkeys that pop out of it to delight Ozma. Which they do succeed with, but they end up in the forest of Gugu, where a leopard king, who I believe is named Gugu, I really was not impressed with this book, it has met Kiki Aru and Ruggedo in their transformed forms of some sort of chimera-like creature. What was it called? Like a Liegman? Or a Lehman-ache? Something like that. It was something godforsaken. You can tell Baum was not doing well. Lyman-Eeg, or Lehman-Eeg, take your pick. And they attempt to try and convince the animals that they need to attack the Oz people, but of course the animals are like, no, I don't think so. There's some mix-ups with the word, and the Gnome King and Kiki Aru get turned into nuts for a little while. Eventually, the wizard and Dorothy and company go help free Trot and Cap'n Bill before they're shrunk to death. There's a whole thing about how no one can actually die in Oz, and even if you get chopped up into little pieces, you're sentient, which you might remember from the Tin Woodman of Oz, which conjures up some very disturbing concepts in this book especially. All is, of course, made right, and then before Ruggedo and Kiki-Eru can actually take control of the Emerald City, the wizard who has learned the word uses the word to transform them back, but makes them very thirsty, and so the first thing they do is drink from the water of the Fountain of Oblivion, which had worked for Ruggedo the first time, but because he was around gnomes or something, this book is just tired. Mary Ness on the Tor website really did put it best. It's tired. We've seen these plots before. We've seen these characters before. And in much more successful ways and in much more successful books. And to me, this just seems like Baum was in ill health, which he was, and he was trying to get something out, which he was, and so this is what he gave us. The Magic of Oz. Neil's artwork throughout it is okay at best, but largely I find it sloppy. I mean, there's so little effort given to it. I liked this book a lot when I read it as a kid. I did read this one in 6th grade, 7th grade. Let's see, I mean, we're just lots of stuff like this. I read it in 6th grade, and I enjoyed it a great deal then. I think some of it was probably because I was younger and had a less refined palate. I think a lot of it was I hadn't read the other books before, many of the other books before this, so it didn't seem as recycled. Fortunately, no magic picture, magic belt stupidness in this one. But overall, I really don't have a lot to say about this book. It doesn't feel like anything, especially coming off the heels of Lost Princess and Tin Woodman, which were both very good, and even Rinkatink, which was very good until the Oz characters got involved. So there were some strong books that preceded this, and this one just doesn't live up to standard, at least for me. Maybe there are some of you out there who do enjoy this one. I will say, sort of as a sidebar, I used to think I was super clever when I was still single and dating, and I would tell people that when they would be like, hey, what's your name? And it was like online, I would spell out the PYRZQXGL, which I've always pronounced Przygl. But I tell them that it was pronounced Garrett, because I thought that was really clever, and I think in the 10-ish years I was on the dating scene, I guess it was actually more like 9, but I think twice somebody got it. Which actually, that's probably better odds than I would have expected anybody to get it. But I thought it was so incredibly clever, and it really probably was not. And by probably, I mean definitely. God, I really don't know what to say about this book. There's just not much to it. It's kind of a waste. Neither the A plot or the B plot are really all that interesting. I actually didn't mind Trot and Cat and Bill in this one. They were less bothersome. The Kalidas showed back up. Kalidas talked. So not one of my favorites. Still rate it higher than Land of Oz. Probably on par with .Wiz. But yeah. This one's gonna be a very short video, folks. So next month, of course, is the final book by Baum, which is Glinda of Oz. Mine is actually a first edition, but it's the Canadian printing. The only difference being that it says the Cop Clark Company. So it does have the color plates, which that's kind of exciting. And I've heard good things about this story in particular. But I have not obviously read it. So we're ending Baum with a book I haven't read yet. Beautiful picture of the 3 women of So, there we go. Glinda of Oz, y'all. About to start it. We'll start it next month and see where that leads us. After that is going to be obviously Royal Book of Oz. I may take a month off. Those of you who are in the cross-stitch world that followed me over here know that there's a big event in May known as Mania. I'm also going to be going out of town in the middle of May, so I may take May off just to give everything sort of a catch-up, and then we'll start in with Royal Book. But I'll sort of decide that next month, but I'm going to throw that out there now. Don't be surprised. So, anyways, my birthday's next month, too, so... Anyhow, I guess that's it for me tonight. I hope everyone had a great month. I hope everyone has a great April. And I will see you all next month. Bye.